All right, you're live.
But this one.
All right, we have quorum. This is the only meeting in which we kind of started our process a little bit differently, where I started talking at the beginning. Because we'll then go through a process of electing our chairs, electing everybody to this. So let me bring up the agenda for today. Yes. We do. Fred. That is correct. So we are not officially in a meeting until we have one more person show up. And really, I'm just talking to Ms. Zemnick. So hi, Ms. Zemnick, and somebody named Zoom user. So thank you for joining us on air Lincoln Park High School. We will listen to some cool jazz as we are waiting for all of our members to show up. It is a variety that all people enjoy. Making it, you hear the slight hum of our air conditioner in the background. That is our consistent beat to our cool jazz music on air Lincoln Park High School. I could do this all day long. Ms. Zemnick, I just promoted you to a panelist. We are waiting for quorum. We currently do not have it. But you look very comfortable.
I am. It's a nice summer sabbatical here.
I am ready for the Copa America. When soccer tournaments are going on, I have to break out my jerseys. So go Colombia. Unless you're from Uruguay, go Uruguay. I got an equal opportunity for all of our students.
Who are we waiting for that was supposed to be there? That's not.
Alicia? She's not going to make it?
She will, but not till like 4:40. She thought it was 4:30. And I said, that's the second meeting that we vote on stuff. So one thing that we could do is that LSC Relations recommended was a little bit of like icebreaker, since a lot of people don't know each other or new here. So we could just go around. I was planning anyway to say, hey, just say a little bit about yourself, why you joined the LSC, what you're looking forward to, and we could talk about things. We just can't execute business.
I mean,
so that's the thought.
The problem with this meeting specifically is this is our organizational meeting. So we do not have a chair. We do not have a secretary. We do not have a vice chair. My role in this is just to facilitate an organizational meeting. So at this point, we don't officially even have a chair to lead or be a part of any of this group at this time. Like, that's sort of the problem of where we're at with not having quorum. Is this whole point of this is to set up who our chair is, set up who everybody is. And if we can't do that, we shouldn't be functioning as an LSC. That's why it's the organizational meeting.
People can't introduce themselves.
We can. I can help facilitate that, but I'm just thinking, like, to discuss any LSC business, I don't think would be appropriate until we have quorum.
Let's start with introductions.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody want to introduce themselves, starting in our corner over here, Ms. Hurd. And you need the microphone for all those who are online.
The big crowds we have online. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Veronica Hurd. I've been at Lincoln Park for almost 20 years now, since 2005. I'm a lead custodian here. And the reason I wanted to be a part of the LSC this time around is because I believe that if you want change, you have to be a part of change. And my goal is to represent the people that really don't have a voice in the LSC. And that was my main reason. And I want to see, I'm in it for the students as well and the community. So I just want to see some change.
Ms. Veronica, could I ask you, I love that. When you talk about the people that you're representing, could you take a minute to just tell us who those groups are? Because I think that's really good for all of us because they're usually not in the classroom. So a lot of us don't see them.
So the non-teaching staff, the custodians, kitchen, staff, security, anybody that's not in that role of teaching. I think I can say that. The clerks, they're not part of the teaching staff. So anybody that's not in that capacity, that's who I'm sitting in for. Well,
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Oh, sorry, Dr. Simon, you're kind of.
All right, next we'll just circle around.
I'm Eric Lascano. I am a teacher at Lincoln Park High School. I primarily teach freshman health and PE. Just finished my 5th year at Lincoln Park High School. Excited that I'll be coaching the varsity girls basketball team again. So I'm excited for that. Why I joined the LSC is I don't know. I think my philosophy as an educator in a school is for everyone to be unified and have the same vision and have the same goal. And I think that's primarily why I'm here, is to try to bring people together at a common goal. And I think if you ask anyone from our principal to our clerks to our lunch staff, is the common goal is to have our students experience success. And so that's kind of the driving force as to why I'm here. And again, I represent the teachers and teaching staff.
Great. Thank you. So I'll go next. My name is Peter Talmers. I'm a parent representative on the LSC. I have one daughter who just graduated a month ago from Lincoln Park, and another one who is here, is very much here. And I've joined the LSC because I think this is an incredible institution. But every institution needs love to grow. And I think the school just needs love and attention and collaboration. And I want to try to help facilitate that to make it a great experience for all the students in the school, for the parents, and for the community members who live here, as well as everyone who works in the building, because they kind of make things go. And so I think this body has a ton of potential to do great things. And so I'm here to try to, throw in my couple of cents on how to make that happen. So that.
Eric Steimler, principal, excited of going into ultimately it's the fifth year here at Lincoln Park High School, kind of 5.5 starting in May 4th of 2020. Excited about continuing some of our successes and addressing some of our areas of growth. And I think there's a lot of celebrations for us to keep building on, and that's the fun, difficult part. And then there's some things that we're going to be targeting specifically. I look forward to sharing that in our August meeting. That will be kind of the welcome back. Here's how we're going to focus on the year, some of our key goals. And then looking forward to then sharing out some of our prior year's successes during the state of the school in the fall, when that data comes out for us to share with the district or share with formally to the LSC. But we've got a lot of really great work before us. I look forward to collaborating with the local school council to work together to achieve these goals. So I'm excited about this year.
My name is Catherine Talmers. I'm the very present daughter of Peter. I am a rising senior, and I've gone to LP for my previous 3 years of high school. And I joined the LSC because I've heard about LSC a lot growing up. My dad has been on the LSC since like my elementary school years. So kind of here to see what it's all about. But from what I know about it, I'm here to like make a difference for the students, represent the students. Oh yeah, I'm a student representative. If that was not already clear. I'm here to make a difference for the students and bring to the table what the students have to say.
Hi, Paul Kendrick. I'm a community representative and excited to take on this new term on the LSC. I was appointed to it about a year and a half ago, and then ran for this next term. So my background's in college success and working with first generation college students to get into and through college. And so, I've been really interested in particularly that part, how we prepare students for pathways to college and careers, and you know, and I appreciate Principal Steinmiller, Mr. Young, kind of welcoming me into that kind of work and trying to contribute. And you know, relative to the LSC, I just want to help us be really, and I'm excited for, I think, how we can be very kind of solution oriented, good faith, positive, driving towards solutions. And I think I want us to kind of keep a big picture in mind, and really look at data and like, how are we getting better? And this is really, you know, people are doing the hardest, really difficult work. But you know, if we do it together and diversity of perspective, I think it can really help us to continue keep pushing the school to be as strong as it can be. And we're making progress, and that's hard, but we're not going to settle. We want to really keep pushing for excellence. So just thank you for all you all do. This is a school we should be proud of, and we're going to really, as an LSC, help it live up to that.
Hello, my name is Laura Yepes, Laura Yepes. I go by both. I am a parent representative. This is my second term. I'm reelected, so really excited to be part of this as a parent rep. I have a rising junior here at Lincoln Park High School. We came from a parochial elementary school, and this is our first experience with CPS. He has an older brother who just graduated from another CPS high school. So I have experience with different CPS schools, but at the same time too, I really wanted to be involved here. Just kind of better understand the culture, and also just help students is facing, you know, learning challenges and diverse learners. That's really what my focus is. Really want to emphasize the fact that Lincoln Park has a very diverse student body, and that we provide the services for all students. That's really my main goal in serving on the LSC. Also, I have a small business background, and I'm also a VP of People Ops. So I like all things budget related and human resources related. So I kind of weave that into what I do here as well. So happy to be on the LSC again this year.
And online, we have an LSC member, Ms. Zemnick.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Zemnick. I am a parent representative on the LSC. I've been on this LSC, I don't even know, a long time, 6 years, maybe 6 years, 8 years. I have a incoming senior and a sophomore. And, you know, part of, many of you know me, so I feel like it's sort of redundant, but part of my reason for running again, but really running in the first place, was to make Lincoln Park a real viable option for many people in our neighborhood who were not kind of considering it. And wanting to make sure, particularly in high school, this has sort of been my call, is that there doesn't tend to be continuities on high school LSCs, because your kid is only there for 4 years, and by the time you get on, you know, they might be a sophomore, and then you have to step off when they're a senior. And so there isn't that oversight that I believe is so important for LSCs to have. And that is why I continue to stay committed to this, is because I want to make sure that, you know, as we see now, many people stepped off, and so who are the people that are going to carry forward what we were working on? And I think that's really important. And I'm so excited to continue the work with many of you who we've been working really hard and putting things together and getting some more systems in place. And also excited to have some new energy and excitement for people who are a part of this. I think it's going to be hopefully a really, really productive couple years where we can continue to turn what feels like this giant cruise ship around. So and thanks for allowing me to be online, because I am recharging in a way that I have not in many, many years. So thank you.
All right. Since we are not officially in a meeting, there isn't a real agenda that we can engage with. And obviously the items that we need to engage with require votes to, oh, hey, we have quorum. How's it going? You're on the LSC, correct? Yeah. Yeah. So we have quorum now. We were just doing introductions. Your timing couldn't have been better. So we're just doing introductions of LSC members. You make 8, which makes us now have quorum. So now we can officially go into our meeting. So if you want to introduce yourself, and then we will actually start the meeting. And the mic for all the people online.
Speak in the mic.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear?
And this is just for people online.
Oh, okay. My name is Jaime Ponce. I'm a parent here. My daughter's junior. Well, she was a junior. She'll be a senior this coming year. I have another son. He's at Prosser. He'll be junior this year at Prosser. I'm also over there, the LSC president over there, right? So I do this since my kids were small. I like joining and helping out and volunteering wherever I could. I'm still with my middle school because I'm right there. I run a program over there through an organizations for the parent mentors program. So I'm still over there. It's like 6 years I've been over there now with this program with the school. So it's kind of nice. So I try to get involved with my kids with their schools, especially with their sports. I don't miss none of the games. So that's the only time you're going to be seeing missing me from here. Anytime to my kids' sports, because I also help out my daughter's in the soccer, in the JV soccer here at the school. So anytime any girls need rides because the parents can't do it, then I take them to the games, you know, especially the away games, you know. But yeah, I love it.
Awesome. Well, let me now jump into our agenda. So I will call the meeting to order since we have quorum. We just introduced ourselves, but just for formality, we still need to do roll call to establish our quorum. So if we'll just start on the corner and just say your name, and this is being recorded to document the minutes of our meeting. So
Okay, my name is Jaime Ponce.
Veronica Hurd.
Eric Lascano.
Peter Tolmers, parent rep.
Eric Steinmiller.
Catherine Tolmers.
Paul Kendrick, community representative.
Laura Yepes, parent rep.
Amy
Oh.
Zemnick, parent rep.
All right, we have Amy Zemnick, who is virtual. Since we do have a standing bylaw from the previous year going into this year, which we will reapprove at this point, but a part of our previous bylaws is that once we have in-person quorum, members can have a virtual presence, but it does require the vote of all present LSC members. So all in favor of Ms. Zemnick being able to participate virtually, please raise your hand.
Aye.
Thank you. It is approved. Ms. Zemnick, you may participate virtually. Next on our agenda, I'm going to pivot because, looking at this, the way this process will go, basically, we will elect a temporary chairperson. The temporary chairperson will then elect the temporary secretary. We will approve the agenda. Then we will nominate the real chair people based off of the temporary chair people and temporary secretary. So at this point, any member at this point may be selected to be a chairperson. The actual chairperson must be a parent rep. But for the temporary, it could be anybody in this room, as this is a part of the formality of this process. Is there someone who would like to be the temporary chairperson or nomination for temporary chairperson?
I nominate Dr. Steinmiller to continue being temporary chairperson.
I accept that nomination. All in favor of that nomination, please raise your hand. I see that it is unanimous. We now must nominate, we now must select a temporary secretary. Is there someone who would like to be nominated as the temporary secretary? I nominate Peter because he takes great notes.
I accept the nomination to be temporary secretary.
All in favor of Peter being the temporary secretary, please raise your hand. I see it being unanimous. We will now move to the point of the nomination and selection of our official chairperson. At that point, the official chairperson will preside and take over the meeting and assume his or her or their duties in their position. Are there any nominations for the selection of the chairperson? They must be a parent rep.
I nominate Peter Tolmers to be the chair.
Second.
There has been a first and a second.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. I'd be happy to serve again. I've certainly learned some things last year and hope to bring those forward. So thank you.
Seeing there's a first, there is a second. If there's any discussion on this topic, I see that he has accepted the nomination. If there is discussion of any other nominations, I do not see any conversation about potential other nominations. Therefore, we move forward with this one nomination. All in favor of Peter Talmers remaining the chairperson moving forward, please raise your hand. It is unanimous. I will now turn the election of the secretary over to the newly elected chairperson. Thank you and congratulations, Mr. Talmers.
Thank you, Dr. Steinmiller. It was really nice you running the meetings, which you could continue, but happy to do so. Thank you, everyone. I look forward to this. So our next thing to do is to elect a secretary. So the primary responsibility of the secretary are taking meeting minutes each month and distributing those to the members for review and approval each month. That's sort of the primary duty. So is there someone, and so we used to have a parent rep who did that last year. His daughter, that was Mr. Ted Smith, his daughter has graduated, so he's no longer on the LSC. So we do need someone else to do that. I don't think there are restrictions on what role the persons have, so it could be anyone. So is there someone who would be open or interested in taking on that role? Or is there someone who would like to nominate someone else to take on that role?
I'd like to nominate someone that's not here by default. But I do have a question. Are we able to use an AI on Zoom? Is that something we could ask Hardesty about? Because that would tremendously cut down on the amount of work for whoever will take that position to just have it transcribed and then that's basically done.
Yeah, I mean, there are tools. You can even take a recording of one of our previous meetings and just paste the URL and it will generate. So, and Zoom, I mean, so is that, so I guess.
I think I would table it and just ask Hardesty as an option.
Okay.
And we can discuss that that further, but I think we still need somebody to be responsible for collecting it and cleaning up anything with it. So.
Right. So your point is that taking on the role may be less laborious than usual because there are tools that can make it easier. So people shouldn't be quite as afraid, I think, is what you're trying to say. But okay. But we still need someone to take responsibility for that, is what I hear Dr. Steinmiller saying. So is there so Amy, did you say you had someone who was not here you wanted to nominate?
Sure.
Or were you joking? No, I didn't know.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's that's not really fair to do.
Okay, yeah.
To someone, but you know, I know that it's a job that no one typically likes doing, and one of the things we have proposed in the past is you need like a formal person, but you know, we rotate if no one wants to do it. Where one person is assigned at each meeting. I don't know. I know it's really not a pretty task.
And Zach Horfeld is on the Zoom, but doesn't have the ability to turn on the camera or chat. But I guess he's.
Okay.
I am moving him to adding him to the meeting.
Great.
Great.
So we should also vote him to participate.
Correct.
Hello, Zach, and welcome. We're trying to elevate you on Zoom. Are you able to join? If so, we have to just take a quick vote to allow you to participate virtually. Or are you just sort of listening in?
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I'm not able to be there in person and appreciate you letting me join here via Zoom. I'm hopefully going to be able to turn my camera on here in a second and participate virtually.
Okay. So is there a motion to allow our new community rep, Zach Hofeld, to participate in this meeting virtually due to he mentioned to me he had a work conflict that he wasn't able to be here for. So is there a motion to allow him to participate?
Motion to allow Zach Horfeld to participate
Is there a
virtually.
second?
I second that motion.
Laura, thank you. All those in favor? Passing unanimously. So, okay, Zach, welcome to the LSC and to this meeting.
Thanks so much, everybody.
Sure thing. So you joined at an auspicious moment as we're looking for someone to be secretary. Not saying it has to be you, but just want to catch you up where we are in the process. We did some quick intros, and now we're going through the agenda here. So I guess on that topic, is there any thoughts on secretary?
I would like to nominate Catherine to be the secretary.
Whoa.
What exactly does this job entail again?
Well, you basically take notes of the meeting and you send them out to everyone. Hang on, this is Alicia, our other parent.
So Catherine, because there is that AI transcription that Amy was talking about, it's very
Alicia's at the
visible
door.
that you can get
Okay.
like a video recording and everything can already be written out. But of course, with AI, it's not 100%. So you have to like kind of tweak it a little bit.
Is
And
that-
And then you just email it around.
Okay, yeah. It's a good way to kind of,
understand everything.
yeah.
You do know the chair.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you could do some,
somewhat.
Peter's like, I know, but
Yeah,
don't
now
actually
they'll ask
have-
all these questions I don't know the answer to. No, she would.
So
do that
I'm just
anyway.
gonna clean up what it doesn't fix, right? Or
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, if you'd like to take on the role.
And
You
the
know, it's
other
not- you're not-
secretary, Ted used to write everything down by hand on a piece of paper. And I have to tell you, that's a lot of work. You could use these tools that would make your life a lot easier. So
if that is possible, that would be amazing.
Yeah, let's assume it is. I don't think we need to ask.
Okay.
LSC office.
I also,
Does it? Oh, yeah.
I want to be mindful about asking a student who's a senior, who's doing college applications and all of that. I would just want to consider that as, a lot of extra work for them. And so I don't want to speak for you, Catherine, but.
Yeah,
um,
no, that is definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that's a fair point to consider. Hey, Alicia, welcome.
Oh, sorry, come on.
So I'm just gonna pause the secretary discussion for a second to just allow our two LSC reps who've just joined the meeting to just say a quick hello and intro. So Alicia, you and our new community rep, Zach, who's online, just joined. And we just had gone around to just let people know, say, your name, your role, and why you joined the LSC. So could you just take a quick second and share?
So, hi, my name is Alicia Hernandez. Sorry, I'm here late. There was a confusion with the agendas there. So this is my third year now on the LSC, or fourth year. This will be my fourth year on LSC. And so, I joined, kind of each year to see, we can make positive improvements to the school and make sure that that we're enacting policies that are beneficial to our students. They have a good student experience and a good learning environment. So I'll keep it brief.
That's great. Thank you, Alicia. Thanks.
Officially, any LSC member, any member of the LSC can be the secretary.
Okay. Zach, do you want to say a quick just hello and intro? And why you joined the LSC?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Very good. How you doing, everybody? My name's Zach Hofeld, community rep, coming new to the district, new to Lincoln Park from the Old Cabrini Green area where I served as a community rep for Wells Community Academy High School. Why LSC? Part of a lifelong commitment to ensuring every kid, no matter their zip code, has access to an excellent public education. That journey started as a teacher some years ago. I'm now an attorney and trying to stay connected to education as best I can.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for bringing your experience to Lincoln Park.
Ms.
Great.
Gonzalez is also here.
I'm sorry.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Oh, really? Okay. Hi, Leslie Gonzalez, welcome to the LSC and to the meeting. We have to vote you in to participate virtually. So I'm going to take a moment to allow you to do that. And once we do, I'd love for you if you could give a quick introduction of yourself to the community. So is there a motion to allow our new parent rep, Leslie Gonzalez, to join virtually? Okay, Alicia, is there a second? Thank you, Jaime. All those in favor? Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome, Leslie. Do you want to say a quick hello, who you are, and why you joined the LSC? If you're speaking, it looks like you're still on mute.
Yeah, I'm asking to.
Oh, trying to elevate her? Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. My name is Leslie Gonzalez. I'm pretty far right now, so my the Zoom call might be dropped, and then I'll come back and all that other stuff. Just
Leslie,
a
I'm
heads up.
sorry. Leslie, I'm sorry. You're cutting in and out a bit. Could you just start over one more time?
Okay. My name is Leslie Gonzalez. I am pretty far right now, so I'll probably be coming in and out. My call might be dropped, but I'll try to reconnect as quick as possible. But I joined the LSC because I have somewhat experience from my daughter's previous school, and it's hard sometimes to get parent involvement, and I like to just step in and step up when I can. So I figure since I'm coming from LSC, from an elementary school, I can try and join, Lincoln Park's LSC. I went to Lincoln Park. My parents went to Lincoln Park when it was Waller. So, the school has a lot of history with my family, but I'm just trying to help out and join and get in where I can. And I thought this was a good way to start. So I joined the LSE.
Okay, great. Well, thank you and welcome. And it's great to have an alum here on the council. That's great. Okay, so just to catch you all up, one other thing, we're going to hit on this in a minute, but during COVID, we were allowed to have virtual meetings. The COVID period has been ended, and so we can't have virtual LSE meetings. And everyone is required to be here in person for every meeting, unless you have I think it's classified as an emergency or extenuating circumstance for work, or a family medical, or a childcare situation. So just something to keep in mind going forward. And I really am glad we have so many here in the summer for this, but we're going to cover that as a formality. And we do always need 8 people in the room physically to have a meeting at all. So that's another reason that physical presence is important. So anyway, I really appreciate everyone being here. And just to catch you up, one of those of you just joined, we were just going through the nominations for the secretary. Our previous secretary has cycled off the LSC with his child graduating, so now we're looking for someone to do that. A suggestion came up to say, hey, we realize note taking isn't always everyone's favorite. There are some tools now that assist with that from an AI perspective, so the lift may not be quite as heavy as before. And so we're looking for, nominations or someone who would be open to being secretary. The primary job is just taking minutes and sending them out to the council for review each month. That's the primary thing. And then, so anyway, is there anyone who would be open or interested to take on that role this year? Is there any bribing that would allow someone to be open to taking the role? Could be anybody. Yeah, could be anybody. It's not, doesn't really matter. And
Should I ask if either of George or Jai are open to it?
you could.
I mean, I would encourage, I think Ms. Zemnick did bring up a very good point of with our students that their priority to focus on instruction. I really think we should.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it would be wise, especially with a lot like seniors and a lot going on. The responsibilities for this becomes official minutes. It needs to be prepared by the following month. I would encourage us to maybe reach outside of our student LSC members.
Thanks, Dr. Miller. I think it's a fair, very thoughtful observation.
Yeah.
Having just gone through the college application process with the senior, it's something.
My suggestion might be, I'm not volunteering myself. But my suggestion would be the reason I'm not volunteering myself is because I'm new to this. And so as I'm going through this, I'm learning everything that's going on in the LSC. So I'm taking notes and trying to learn. It's just would do me disservice. So my suggestion would be to have someone that has been on the LSC multiple years that kind of understands the processes and how things go to be the note taker. That's just my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Although not
Which is basically.
Not a requirement.
Which is basically everybody else, because everybody else has served on some LSC.
I don't misheard is new.
Right,
I'm just-
other than Miss Heard, the rest of us, I think, have all served in some
get a chance to
capacity.
be somebody physically here.
It's for just this 1 year. It's not the whole.
I know, but I think the nomination needs to be somebody physically here.
Yeah, no, that could be any LSC member, considering we have everybody present at this point, except for the students. But again, I wouldn't recommend students. I think we just need someone to be able to do it. Otherwise, draw straws. This is not an optional position. This is a required position that must be filled. It doesn't mean that. I think you brought up a point of maybe it's for the first semester and somebody takes on the second semester, but it does need to be filled.
Yeah, that is true. We could change roles in the middle of the year if someone, would be willing to say, hey, I'll take it for the fall, and then we get someone for the winter or something. Spring.
If not, I propose that it has the oversight of it and that we rotate month by month. If that is a compromise, because no one wants to take on the role. If there's
creative.
one responsible for oversight and then everybody rotates the.
Good.
I'll volunteer to take on the August month.
All right, Mr. Lascano. Round of snaps. Okay. Would you want to be the? Oh, or Alicia, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
I just want August.
Okay.
I guess I'll go ahead and volunteer. Let's
You volunteer?
move
Great.
this along.
Okay. Thank you, Alicia. So
And yeah, we could do that. If just everyone takes a month and
it's a good way to learn, get engaged, listen a little
Yep.
more attentively. Okay.
thank you.
So,
Yeah, hopefully the AI tool works.
all right.
So is there a nomination?
Yeah. Is there a nomination? Well, let me just ask, how do people feel about the rotational idea? Like, are people okay to take on a month? No one would have more than 1 month.
I have a
Well-
question. Are students included in the rotation?
Good question. I think no.
That
I mean,
sounds like a
I
good
think
idea.
the students can do it, but I don't think they should do it.
Yeah.
And I think also the rotation, as inspiring as it is, I think would kind of get messy. So, I'll just volunteer for the whole year, whatever.
We might also run out of months before we do students.
You volunteer for the whole year. Okay. Well, thank you, Alicia. That's huge. Okay.
I
Is there
second that nomination.
what's that?
You're
Yep.
Second? Okay. All those in favor? Wow. We have unanimous, I think.
All
Zach,
those
are you
opposed?
thumbs up?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Great. All right, Leslie, can't see you, but I'm
She
assuming-
she lost connection.
Oh, okay, got it. All right. Well, it's unanimous. It passes. Congratulations, Alicia, new secretary of the LSC. Awesome. Great to have you. Okay, next item. Nominations and selection of the vice chair. This is an optional role. It is not mandatory. We have had them in the past, and it's basically if the chair is not available for some reason, a vice chair just sort of steps in to assume that responsibility. Personally, I think it's just a nice thing to just have that structure there, even if it's not really invoked very often, which it historically has not been in my experience. So is there a nomination for someone to be vice chair, or is someone interested in being vice chair? And this is, recommended to be a parent, but I don't believe it's required. All right.
I mean, if she's interested, I would recommend Amy based on her LSC expertise and wisdom.
Okay. So, Amy Zemnick, would you be open to that idea?
Happy to, if no one else, I know I held that role before, so if someone else is wanting to step in, I'm also happy to allow that to occur.
Okay. Is there anyone else who'd like to step forward for that, or any other nominations? Okay, not seeing any or hearing. So is there a motion to nominate Amy Zemnick as vice chair?
Motion to nominate.
Oh, go ahead.
Motion to nominate Amy Zemnick to serve as vice chair.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, great. All those in favor? That is unanimous. Great. Congratulations, Amy Zemnick. Thank you very much. Okay, next item on. Okay, so we also have a FOIA OMA officer role. This was previously held by Brad Kessler, our former community rep, who is not on this year. FOIA is the Freedom of Information Act, and OMA is the Open Meetings Act. So this is sort of someone that has an eye toward, hey, are we following OMA guidelines for our meetings? And if there's information requested, are we providing it in a reasonable manner? So is there someone here who would be interested in taking on that role for us? And this one is the required role, I think, Dr. Miller, right? Yeah, it's a required role. So is anyone interested, or is
Zach has his hand up?
Oh, Zach, sorry.
If anyone else is interested in doing it, I'd defer to you guys. If no one is interested, I'm happy to take it on. I've taken on before and know the Open Meetings Act and FOIA relative.
Awesome. Oh, great. Okay.
You're going to be our trusty attorney.
Yeah.
Keep us out of trouble.
I'll do my best.
Thank you, Zach, for your willingness to do that. Is there anyone else who's interested in that role? I'm not seeing much. I'm seeing a lot of smiles. I'm sure they're of joy that you're willing to take that on. So it's great. Is there a motion to nominate Zach Hofeld for FOIA OMA officer?
Motion to nominate Zach Hofield for FOIA OMA officer.
Okay, thank you. Paul, is there a second? Jaime? Okay, all those in favor? It's unanimous. Zach, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yep. Okay, now we set regular meeting schedule for the year. In the last 2 years ago, we had all our meetings at like 6 o'clock, and then we started saying, hey, it's making students and teachers wait 2.5 hours. What if we move them to 4 o'clock? And that's what we did last year. And I think that was well received by the community.
Yeah.
So and we did it the second Thursday of every month. So second Thursday, 4 p.m. That is what I would like to propose we go with, unless people feel like there's a desire to make a different day or a different week.
No, I agree with that, but I think we should also, I guess, go through the calendar and make sure there's no dates that we shouldn't have a meeting on that.
Yeah, if there are
Thursday.
conflicts,
Yep.
we can set that specific day to be a different day. Like if
Right.
parent-teacher conferences, we can bump it a week, or if it's holiday or certain things.
Yeah.
So what I can do to help with that, I will go through and look at the second Thursday as we are all together here, and let's just get it done.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you.
And then we can determine what really is the second week. So August starts August 1st is on 1 week, and then we have August 8th would be the technical second week. Would August 8th be a date that makes sense for the summer? So I don't see any calendar conflicts. Cool. So August 8th. Somebody mind just marking those dates.
Is that, Eric, is that okay for us making, like, is there going to be anything that's going to need to be decided later? I just think we're going to need to be really mindful of what needs to be voted on at that meeting. Because then we're not meeting until after school starts. So.
Yeah, if we pushed it to the following week, we have quick start that day.
What about if we did it a week before, like the first? Would that?
I will not be in attendance.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's true.
okay.
I just want to
August
just
8th, I
be
won't be able to
mindful.
be in attendance either. I'm going to be on vacation.
Okay, August 8th.
Yes.
Good for you. Okay.
I mean, you can make it the 15th. It would be quick. It'd be at the end of quick start.
I mean, I have no problem leaving it the 8th. I just think we want to be mindful of, I mean, I think it seems like the 8th makes sense. We just want to be mindful of anything that needs to be voted on and addressed in order for school to start and get up and running without any issues. So
With the
Yeah.
first meeting being before school attendance, does it have to be a Thursday?
No, I think that's a good point. I think we could open it up to, if it would be helpful, Dr. Steinmiller, to meet a little bit earlier, we could pick another day if you would like. I mean, do you have a?
I mean, that it would just have to be that week, the week of the 5th. I mean, or it could be that week, the second week.
so then let's just leave it the 8th. I didn't mean to complicate things. If we're just moving, I think if the 8th works and that time works, let's just leave it that. Just be mindful of anything that needs to get done for budget and voted on before school starts. So we don't have any issues.
Yeah, I think the 8th would be good. It will also be able to frame some of the objectives. It would give us some time before school starts. So I don't see a conflict with the 8th.
And we should reach out to any sports teams, making sure if there's any fundraisers that need to be voted on, that they're submitted by the 8th. Because otherwise they won't be able to be approved until after school starts, which is like.
Nope, that makes
3 weeks.
sense. Actually, the 8th would be as soon as we can do besides our special meeting after this one.
Okay.
The next date would be the 12th, September 12th. I do not see any conflicts. The October date would be October 10th. I do not see any conflicts.
Sorry, I was on mute, just speaking up belatedly about the September date. I'm going to be on trial September 9th, starting September 9th for about 2 weeks. So I won't be able to be at the September meeting, but I'm not sure moving it will be that much help either. So I just want to put that on everybody's radar. And I'm hoping that I'm not needed for quorum during those 2 weeks. If I am, I mean, sure we can try to figure something out, but just want to be transparent and put that on everyone's radar.
Okay. Thank you, Zach.
November. The first day of November is a Friday. So if we go into the 7th, November 7th, I don't see any conflicts on the books. Tuesday would be election day.
The 14th is the second Thursday.
Okay. I just said the first, there is a date on it. So we can make it the 14th.
First Thursday.
Then December, we have the 12th.
Is a religious holiday, so I don't know if there's going to be, well, not a holiday, but religious date. So I don't know if people are going to be missing because of that.
What is?
Maybe we could do it on the 11th or something.
What's the holiday?
It's the Virgin Mary Catholic Day. So I don't know. I won't be here if that's the big.
Yep.
The 11th would be fine with me.
I'm open to, it could be the 11th, that Wednesday, to avoid the conflict. So that will be Wednesday, the 11th.
Wednesday, December 11th. I could be here for maybe the first half of the meeting, and then we will have a girls basketball game, home game. So I could be here for the first half, and then I have to leave early.
I won't be there on the 11th.
So do we move it to the 11th, or we maintain the standard of the second Thursday?
I mean, so wait, you won't be here one day and if we move it the day before, we have two people that won't be here. Is that right?
If we move it to December 11th, I could be here maybe for the first hour, the first half of it, and then I have to leave.
Okay. And then Amy, you could not be here that day. Okay. What about Tuesday or?
So in the interest of that, I think we should probably keep it to the 12th.
Okay.
Because it's also something we're communicating an expectation to community about a standard date. So it's the second Thursday of every month that people expect that.
Yeah.
And so unless there is, I would say, a massive, like we all can't be here because it's a holiday in which school is closed, or there is parent teacher conferences. I think we should try to maintain that expectation because it's how we communicate with our community. So if it's a single person for something, we can see what we can do virtually, and I think we all have an understanding of appreciation for religious holidays and individual professional needs. So I would say let's keep it then December 12th. Interesting enough, I have known LSCs at several other schools that treat the December LSC meeting as a community building, where they've actually treated their meeting as they get together at somewhere off school. That is something that I know that they have done, other schools have done, is a December holiday LSC meeting where it's no official business, but they use that time. That's just something that can be considered. I just know of a lot of schools that are doing that. So it could not be this date and have where we all meet up somewhere and enjoy each other's company. That I just know other schools are doing.
We can do that. I mean, I don't know. We should decide that right now, but we can change we can decide what the agenda is, right?
Yep.
Are we saying? Okay.
Yep. The January meeting then would be, look at it.
That's the 9th.
We're back in school, right? I think we're back in school, right? Yeah, we're back in school. Yeah, the 9th. So January 9th. I don't see any major conflicts going into February.
Just the January 9th one. That's I will not be able to attend that one due to a coaching conflict.
Got it. Next I see is February 13th. All right, then let's go into March. March 13th. April 10th. When is our spring break? I don't see it actually.
March 13th.
Yeah. Be March 13th and then April.
I don't think
10th.
that conflicts. I think it's the last week in March, but I'll check.
What was that?
Spring break is March 24th.
Okay, cool. Excellent. April, and then we get into May. May 8th, or do we see that as the first week? May 8th. Cool. And then June 12th.
My birthday, and there's no way I'd rather celebrate than being with you all in an LSC meeting.
The only thing I would say about the June meeting, well, yeah, that's our last day of school.
Oh.
So it depends if we want to have a meeting the last day of school or, but
I guess we have a lot to celebrate that meeting.
yeah. So that would be, those would be the dates.
Do we want
Do we want to reconsider the last LSC meeting to maybe the week prior?
Like June 5th be the first week, just so that we have people present. Because I mean, half the people are going to be gone. So as a school, we flexed that Monday, so we will have PD that Friday with teachers. At this point, so teachers will be present. So it's not entirely closed, but that'll be the last day for students. So it's just something to consider.
I would vote to move that last meeting in June to June 5th.
5th. We can do that, I think. So those are all the proposed dates. I move that we accept those dates.
Okay, so what we're saying, just to clarify, is that it's for the whole school year, starting in August through June. We're going to do this through May. It's going to be the second Thursday of every month, 4 p.m. But in June, we're going to do the 5th also.
Yeah.
Is that right? So that's the same. Oh, no, a week before. Yeah. Okay. So just so we know. All right. So you've made that motion. Is there a second? Alicia? Okay. All those in favor? Okay. Zach, I'm including you as assuming you're a yes. So great. Unanimously passes. Congrats. We did it. Thank you. Moving right along
We
here.
decided June 5th for that last one.
June 5th. Yes.
Someone is at the door. Andy Plax is at the door, I believe.
Oh, Yuri, thank you so much. Okay. So we've set the regular meetings for the year. The next item is adopt or readopt bylaws or establish bylaws, the bylaws committee. This is optional. I will say there's one small item of business on these. The bylaws that we have inherited from the past, CPS or LSC Relations has created or CPS Legal has created a new template for those bylaws, sort of, this past spring. We did not on the last LSC go through and ratify those. So I don't want to do that now. No one's seen them yet, but I think that will be an action item that will take maybe going forward, that we could send those out for review. So just a news item, but Dr. Steinmiller, I guess for right now, we would readopt those, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think there's a motion to readopt the existing bylaws, and then, I'll create an action where I'll send out the new one for us to review, and then we'll take those. So, okay. So I make a motion to readopt the existing bylaws with the anticipation of adopting some new ones after that, soon after the new template. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Thank you, Zach. All those in favor? Looks like it's unanimous. Great. Thank you. So that's done. The next item, adopt or readopt rules of order for LSC meetings. This is also optional. So we've in the past used Robert's Rules of Order, which is a very formal parliamentary procedure thing. Dr. Steinmiller, who's a national parliamentarian, loves those. We have, I would say, a loose interpretation of those.
That's fair.
Okay. So we try to have some formality, but like not everyone has to be recognized by the chair to speak, kind of thing. So I guess I would like to, I really don't know what to say here. Do we readopt those? I think we should readopt them, because if we sometimes do have an intense meeting, it's good to have something that we can fall back on to enforce. So I'd like to propose that we readopt Robert's Rules of Orders for LSC meetings going for this year. Is there
I second that motion.
second? Okay, all those in favor? Great, looks like it's unanimous. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so the next item is to announce the date of the first regular meeting. So I hereby announce the date of the first regular monthly meeting in the LSC to be Thursday, August the 8th at 4 p.m.
I've sent calendar invites to all LSC meetings already, so you will have that on your Google Calendar. I did set it to repeat every Thursday, so I will adjust for the June 5th. That will show an inaccurate date at this point. But I will review all of the calendar invites, so everybody should have that on their Google Calendar.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
That's great. Let's see. So, okay, we are now about to go into public participation. So what we do, just the way we run public participation is we allow anyone who's here in the room or online to come up and make a statement. And we ask that you keep your comments to 2 minutes or less. And we also do not engage in conversation or response during that time. If there is a request made to the LSC, we'll take note of it and then report on it the next month or by the next month. But during the meeting, we don't engage. So it may feel a little weird that we're just standing here stone-faced or just listening. But we are listening and we're taking notes. And we welcome anyone to share a comment or a perspective or ask a question. So I'll open that now. Is there anyone here in the room or online that has a public comment they'd like to make?
Really quick, I have a question. As being new here,
Yeah.
and has done the public speaking before, what is it a rule or is it something that the LSC adopted that there's no back and forth between the LSC and the public participant? What's the rationale behind it?
Great question. I'm going to defer a little bit, Dr. Steinmiller.
I mean, if you even think of like the board has public participation at the very beginning. It allows for any item, non-agenda item, any concerns, anything to be brought up. The point of it is efficiency of meetings. If you had a back and forth, that then becomes an item we are discussing, and therefore should be an agenda item. So if it's about underwater basket weaving and we really want to debate underwater basket weaving for an hour because it was brought to us, those who are interested in the community should be aware that's a topic we are discussing. So they should know to attend the underwater basket weaving meeting. So that's part of it, is to make sure that those who want to be involved in the discussion can listen to it and know that it is a topic. So what we have often done, and this is how the board does it, if a topic is brought up and it's something that we want to discuss, we would maybe set it for the next agenda, or it may be worked into the principal's report on that time.
I guess my rebuttal to that would be is if there is someone in public participation, and we want a clarifying question, or like we're not fully understanding what their statement is, do we have the authority to ask, hey, you mentioned this, is it possible for you to clarify your statement or your point on this topic?
For the functionality of this group, I think it would be beneficial to ask for those afterwards. So if there's something to follow up on, because again, it's the items we are supposed to discuss are agenda items. We're really not supposed to engage in agenda items that are not there. Again, that's part of the Open Meetings Act, part of the conversation, to be fair to our overall community, because we represent thousands of people. And if it's something that they want to be able to participate, they should know that that is a topic. So I would encourage us as an LSC that if a topic is brought up and we have inquiry and questions, to actually work with the chair or with me, we can follow up with that individual. Often when somebody does speak, if there's something that I am not responding to, I will try to follow up with that individual afterwards, or the chair can the chair can be a point of contact for clarifying questions to be able to share with the LSC. So we're not breaking Open Meetings Act.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with all that preamble, is there anyone who would like to make a comment either here in the room or online?
Comment.
Yes.
I have a really quick public comment, Peter.
Yeah,
Can you-
1 sec. Amy,
Oh,
sorry, we have just something in the room. We will have public comment. I think we have that at the beginning of the agenda. It could do it either time. I'm practically one's going back to back, so I'll leave it to you. Okay. All right. Amy, you had a comment?
I just wanted to acknowledge, I don't know how many people knew Memory Jacobs. She served on our LSC. Dr. Steinmiller, I'm not sure if she was on when you were still there, when you first came on.
Memory Jacobs.
Yes, I do. Right. Yeah.
Sadly, she passed away.
Oh no.
And she was really involved when, she came on the LSC kind of before things got tumultuous, and was like a really important part of a lot of the work that we did, when things went awry. And it's really sad. And I just wanted to take a moment to let the community know, because she really, she stepped in and stepped up and was a voice for a lot of the voices that we don't normally hear from. So just grateful for the work that she did, and sad that this world lost someone like her, because she really was very loving and cared a lot.
Thank you. Thank you. I did not know that.
I did
Okay.
not see any hands online. Is there anybody in the public?
Hi, yes, please. And when you come up, just please say your name and introduce yourself. And to the mic, we can hear you in the room, but online they can't hear you unless you speak in the mic.
Gotcha. Hey, is it on?
Yeah.
It won't
Okay.
sound louder here. So
I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Fanique Stonewall. I'm one of the new assistant principals here at Lincoln Park. Finishing off my second week. So super excited to be here, coming from Wisconsin. Was a assistant principal there as well. So super excited to be here and to, impact student success and work with the staff and the families and the community members, and excited to get to know all of you and help out wherever I can. But just wanted to drop in and say hi and introduce myself.
great. Welcome. Thank you.
Ms. Stonewall is living still in Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
And so I will ask that she leave and go to her.
All right, drive safe.
Great. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment in the current meeting? Okay. Not seeing anyone else come forward. So we're at adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Oh, comment? Oh, please come on up.
There's
wait
another
for the next
public
one?
comment
Okay.
in another meeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting then.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Great. All those in favor? Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Congratulations, LSC and new members. We got the first meeting under our belts, so that's great.
Time for a second meeting.
And now we have a second meeting because we have a little bit of business that's not organizational to take care of. Has to do with some fundraising and some financial items. So I'm now going to call the a special meeting in the LSC to order. We're going to have to do a quick roll call and make sure we have quorum, and then we'll get into the agenda. So I'd like to just go around. If you could just say your name and your role, and we'll get this done quickly. So Jaime, could you say your name and your role, please?
Jaime Ponce, I was a parent.
Great.
Veronica Hurd, non-teaching.
Alicia Hernandez, parent rep.
Eric Lascano, teacher.
Peter Tolmer's parent.
Eric Steimler, principal.
Catherine Tolmer, student.
Paul Kendrick, community rep.
Laura Yepes, parent rep.
Great. So the meeting's called to order. I see that we have a quorum of way more than 8 people. Thank you again, everyone. And we have a couple items of, Amy, I'm sorry. And we have Zach, everyone. Sorry. Zach, could you say?
Zach Hofeld, community rep.
Thank you.
Amy Zemnick, parent rep.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. What? Oh, yes. Is there a motion to allow Ms. Zemnick and Mr. Hofeld to participate virtually in this LSC meeting? Okay, is there a second? Jaime, thank you. All those in favor? Great. Welcome officially to the meeting, Amy and Zach. Okay, so there are a couple items. I think we're open.
Public participation.
Yeah, so now we have public participation. Please come up for 2 minutes. We do time just to make sure we're being fair to everybody. And I'll try to give you like 30-second warning.
Hi, I'm Savannah Nelson.
Hi, one request. Could you speak closer to the mic because the people online can't hear you, even though we can, but we do have kind of a loud AC. So just let us hear you. Thanks.
I'm Sophia Nelson. I'm Kai O'Brien. And we're here to, we're on behalf of the girls volleyball team. There's been a lot of issues lately. Last summer, there were a lot of issues also. and probably the previous years, but we're incoming juniors, so we've only been here 2 years. It's pertaining to like the time we get in the gym before tryouts during the summer, the equipment being used by PE instructors, and then not putting away like with respect to the equipment. Also, I feel like as a student athlete, I feel like there's no communication at all between student athletes and coaches, and then the student directors and athletic team, and then also like teachers and like security staff. It feels like we're all just kind of like we're all kind of in our own subgroups, and we're all trying to answer like this problem, but we're not talking together, and so nothing's actually getting done. It's only getting worse with years. Yeah. The current issue that we have right now is that there was supposed to be a volleyball camp and some open gyms this summer, and we were informed basically a day before the camp was supposed to start that it actually wasn't happening, and that the gym was being used by the girls basketball team, which is a winter sport, and we are a fall sport, so I feel like we should take precedence. And so I feel like there's no sense of urgency with student athletic direction. And also I find it also I just want to like have like complete transparency between like what's happening with the athletic direction, because like I don't even know if we have an athletic director anymore, because like we had one at the beginning, and like we had a student meeting in this room with them. I think their name was like Jordan or something. And then like I never heard from them again because like they quit the next day. And like I never heard about that. I had to ask my coach, and my coach had to tell me. Yeah. And then the rest of the season, it seemed like we didn't have an athletic director, because I was never told that we ever had one. And then now it seems like we have an athletic director, but they've only been employed for like a year or something, which for this school and with our big athletic team, I feel like it's a little silly to have a person with no experience. Yeah, so we just wanted to come here today to tell you student athlete perspective. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you both. Appreciate that. All right. Are there others? Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
just as a reminder, we didn't implement it today, but we are supposed to have a 3-minute rule for 2 minute.
2 minute. Yes. I've got
So-
it here.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. I am proud to be Sophia's mom, and a volleyball mom. And I just want to speak out on the fact that parents, plan their lives around these schedules. As those of us in sports know, we planned our vacation around getting back in time for this. Sophia took a summer job that's only on the weekend so that she could be available for volleyball, because it's that important to her. And as a reminder to everyone, girls sports keep pregnancy rates low. They keep mental health good. They help with girls' body image. They help with depression. Girls sports are important. And for girls to come and find out that day before camp, which they've been planning to go to all summer, it's not happening. And the accommodation that was given them was an auxiliary gym where they can't even put up a volleyball net. And it shouldn't be girls basketball versus girls volleyball, because both sports are important. And there's no surprise that every fall girls volleyball happens. So why aren't these in place? And why are girls being left to go, I don't matter. My athletics don't matter. The thing that brings me to school every day, the thing that gives me better mental health, which is very important, and gives me better physical health. And that it doesn't matter, because that's the message that's being given to. And we have an incredible coach, and I don't want her to see frustrated and leave, because it's hard enough to get coaches. Thanks.
Thank you very much for coming and sharing. Yes.
Kai's mother. Also a proud volleyball parent, girls volleyball parent. It appears that the girls basketball ISHA should not even be practicing at this time before girls volleyball season begins. Their practice season begins after the girls. Is that correct? The volleyball season?
I was just told I'm not allowed
We
to
can't-
respond.
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry. So I would really appreciate that the girls have the practice space that they deserve. Our girls did very well against Lane, Whitney, Peyton, Jones, everything this year. And I don't think that they got the recognition that they deserve. I think equity is a huge issue that they face, and we don't want our young athletes, especially our female athletes, to feel that they are being mistreated. I think that they deserve the same respect that many of the other sports do that bring in a lot of money for LP. I think that money should be that's generated should be dispersed so that there's buses available and equipment like nets are new. The girls volleyball team has they
Just
should not be used for
30
the
seconds,
Chicago
just
Social
FYI.
Club, and they should not be used for intramural sports, and they should be not being used for gym classes. They should be specifically for girls volleyball, the athletics program.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming and sharing. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Anthony Plax, and I'm here. I'm co-chair of the boys basketball boosters club. And thank you guys for voicing your frustrations. It's kind of similar to what we've kind of why we're here today. So we're trying to be as proactive this year as possible with fundraising, because right now the budget we have is really zero. And so, like, as an example, for the boys basketball tournaments this summer, we paid out of pocket as parents so that they could participate. So part of the fundraiser of today's meeting is how do we allow funds both for basketball and ideally for all sports. But with today's discussion is that there's going to be we want to have a fundraiser in the week of August 5th. And the idea is to bring in local kids from second to eighth grade to get them familiar both with Lincoln Park as a whole and also as a fundraiser. So the coaches at Lincoln Park would be here. I think it'd be 9 to 12 the week of Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. No day on Wednesday. But we want to, as this hopefully is this initial fundraiser, but then down the road is have much more so that we can just allow the team, you know, basketball as an example, that they can have uniforms, because that's something that we're going to need to order in the very near future. So that and tournaments and other things that add up like all sports. So we'd appreciate your help and participation this year, especially how do we, I don't know if I'm up on time, but
You got 35 seconds.
okay, so I'll be quick, but something that would be nice as an LSC board that would be really appreciate is how we can collectively work together. Because really our goal is how do we help the kids like yourselves? I'm sure that's why you're here. And I was listening to the announcements today when you were doing your introduction. So really, we're excited to work with you and hope to have a great year together and hope to work with all sports as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Okay. Well, I don't think there's anyone else because everyone has spoken, but really appreciate that, everyone. Thank you. There's no one online, right?
Nope.
Okay. So that's our public comment.
Cool. I'd happy to leave the
That would be
portions of it.
great. Thank you.
Speaking about just sports in general, so this is what we're trying to emphasize and bring up at this meeting, and I appreciate Peter putting this forward to have a special meeting right after our meeting, because timeliness of funding is important. And if we wait until our August 8th meeting, we're actually already too late. So there are basically kind of three buckets of items that we have for our LSE. One is something that we've done in the past, which is kind of for all athletics to be able to do. We did this last year. It allowed all teams to be able to do 3 specific fundraising activities. Then outside of that, what allows teams to come and present, just like was shared in public participation, about fundraising outside of that. So I'm going to kind of do kind of almost a 2-in-1 and talk through that really quickly. The second thing that we will be voting on is the athletic fundraising guidelines for all teams. And this means that all teams must collect money through a 501c3 or a boosters. And what we did last year is every team could collect donations. So all teams are allowed to collect donations into a booster. All teams allow their players to purchase their own jerseys. So the funds can be used for them to purchase their own jerseys, and they can sell spirit wear. Those are 3 things every single team we last year allowed to do. We voted and allows every team to not have to come and present to the LSC. If that's the case, any money, for example, volleyball were to raise has to be brought to the LSC. So if they are collecting any money right now, it's not approved. So that's why we're trying to do this right now, so all teams can collect donations. Right now, if money was collected yesterday, it actually wasn't approved. And so this is something we need to get in front of. The first thing is then basketball. Basketball wants to do a summer camp. They want to do a for our community. It was shared in public participation for some of our youth to be able to have a camp. There will be a charge to it in which they will also be fundraising, and they'll be able to provide also a community event. So that's something that group specifically has put forward separate from those 3 items, which will be the second thing I'd like us to vote for. So I move is that the basketball team be allowed to have a summer camp and for our children in our community as a fundraiser.
We talk about how much charging and
Yeah, I can bring that up.
detail.
Yeah, let me bring that up right now.
Okay. And do they have a space allocated for this camp already?
Yeah, so during the school day, we do have evenings, or you have summer school. That's from like basically 8:30 to 12:30. The gyms are available from 12:30 to 2:30, 3:30, 3 o'clock every day. Earlier in the school year in May, our athletic director did put a request out to teams that would like to have open gyms and different things. Teams replied in May, and we scheduled them. Some teams, coaches replied after the fact, in which then they wanted a gym. We'd already had summer school. We have different things, and we did then allocate available gyms. For example, girls basketball has a slot in which they have practice in the morning, in which we don't have a competement with evening school. Boys basketball comes in. Volleyball had all literally dedicated the smaller gym was dedicated where it's a singular court, but they could have a single court put up and have it all summer available to them at any time. The request is for them to be able to use the main gym. That request we followed up in June 4th asking, hey, what are the alternatives of time? Because we already have established earlier in the year with groups that reached out. We didn't hear until basically around June 4th after the fact that this additional request. We will accommodate, but we just need to work with any coaches on that. Meaning there is still gym space for it in August in which we can do that. Summer school is then ended by that point. Freshman Connection has ended at that point. So there'll be even more availability so that we do have gym space that will be allocated and available for all fall sports as well as doing the camp.
I just wanted to address what the folks during public comment had to say about the girls volleyball team and giving them adequate space. They were anticipating coming in and doing a summer camp, and that space wasn't made available to them. Not to preclude what you're saying, I just wanted to know, what are the accommodations being made for the girls volleyball team?
June 4th, I saw the last email from our assistant principal reaching out saying, let's come up with some solutions. I didn't get a follow-up from the coach until yesterday. I have the email thread. We did a follow-up with the coach because we did get concerns from parents. The last follow-up that we received was yesterday from the coach. So we are willing, I sent a follow-up email to their apology for not following up from the June 4th communication that was sent by Ms. Theus. And so we will work to find them gym space.
What about the athletic director? Did she have any say at all?
She also was a part of that communication. But right now, like what for this, and we can talk more on athletics, I think in the August meeting, like really to be focused. This is really about the fun, like some of the fundraising things. We can talk about gym space. I just want to make sure we're hitting our agenda items because I want to make sure that basketball is able to move forward with their fundraisers. All sports teams are able to. If we don't move forward with those, then no athletic team can collect money until we have our next LSC meeting, which would be in August. And so any funding collected outside of that, this was a part of, again, the audit that I shared in June, is that it must be approved. It must go to a 501c3. These
Yeah.
things just, we have to make sure we vote.
We're going to get there, and of course we're supporting it. We just want to make sure based on what we
Yeah.
just heard, this will not in any way affect the girls volleyball team.
Yeah, all of our stuff will be done by girls volleyball can be practicing right now. They can be doing things right now. We just need
Can I add, I want to add clarification. As being a coach for the girls basketball, I'm looking at a spreadsheet that was sent out to us by our athletic director. Listing all sports, not just basketball. I'm looking at girls soccer or girls volleyball. I'm looking at soccer. And in this sheet is where we would sign up for our gym space and our times. And so I know that they mentioned, basketball girls and boys is a winter sport. That is true. Volleyball is a fall sport. However, in the summer for IHSA, all sports are allowed 20 contact days, like 20 practice days. And this is for them to participate in summer leagues or tournaments or practices or conditioning. So just because there is a fall is just past summer, baseball or softball, they can also participate in summer conditioning if they wanted to in their spring sports. So really it just kind of came down to gym availability. Girls basketball goes from and so I don't know if volleyball could have gone from 10 to 11:30 or 10 to 12. But that sheet was presented to all coaches to sign up for gym availability and gym space.
Zach.
Hi, Zach. Go ahead.
Hey, guys, if I could just ask two quick clarifying questions, and sorry if I'm just the newbie who doesn't understand this. Number one, did I hear correctly that the two votes we're taking are, number one, related to approving the boys basketball fundraiser or fundraising capability, and two, just approving more generally fundraising guidelines?
Yes, there will be a third one, which will just be about fees that I want to be able to present, because the sooner we get in front of student fees, that'll be the third thing. But this is really around athletics. So these two things are about athletics. The third is really about fees. So there are three
Okay, and
items.
just the second follow-up question was on the vote number one regarding approving the boys basketball fundraiser. Are we also voting to approve, any fundraising capability for other sports teams to just make sure that they have the same capability to do something like that if they want to get organized and do that, or do they already have that? Or can you just speak to making sure all the teams have the same ability?
Yeah, the thing we do consistently for all teams, that's the second vote, is they can players can buy their own uniforms, they can collect donations, and then they can sell spirit wear for their team. That's something all teams, we want to vote to approve all teams to be able to do. Then when something unique, such as basketball wants to do, if soccer wants to do a camp, if volleyball wants to do a camp, we would want them to present individually. If it becomes where we want to allow every team to do a camp, I would just say, because of the something like that, it requires space utilization and making sure that we have security and different things. I think it would be important that we still follow the fundraising submissions through CPS, just to make sure that we have coverage for it. But the other three don't require supervision by the school. So that's why basketball is here today to present for that as a individual fundraiser. But any team, this is an option I think any team could do, and I think it's a great opportunity.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I'm hearing that right. It sounds like there's a base fundraising capability that exists for all sports all the time. You can sell spirit wear for money fundraising or uniforms for running. So those, no one needs to come to us for.
Correct.
But if you want to do a special something like basketball's proposing, like have a summer camp for elementary school kids, that you need to come to us for.
Yes.
Okay.
And if it's like selling like popcorn in the spring, or doing a very unique fundraiser, should be presented to us. Last year, our students brought up some really good points of how do we make sure that we are providing equitable fundraising opportunities to teams. That's where the LSC, we can say, hey, you've got 20 fundraisers going on. How can any other group do anything? And so for right now, we have basketball coming to us. They have a great opportunity to be able to do a cool fundraiser that also builds in our community, which I think is the spirit of Lion Pride, one school, one community. And so that is very specific. We need to vote to approve it. A form has been submitted by the coach. It's been filled out in its entirety. For example, the selling price is $250 for the tickets and also the things that'll be associated with it. They anticipate they'll make around $10,000 from that one event. There is gym space available, or $8,500 with expenses. So they've got all the forms and everything submitted for this. It looks good from my perspective of what needs to be cleared by me to be able to present to the board. So I like them to be able to get started.
So do all the teams have a 501? I mean, you're saying
So
that
they are using the LPHS Athletic Booster, and they have the Athletic Booster, which is a 501c3, and they've created subgroups for all the sports. Basketball is working directly with them. The parent who is present in the audience is our liaison parent, working directly with the boys basketball team in coordination with the Athletic Booster.
So all the teams are aware of this.
Yes. We will not have any offshoot. The only sport at this point that has an official 501c3 separate from our LPHS boosters is soccer. They've established this for a long period of time. It's already been created. If any other sport, let's say basketball at some point, does create their own 501c3 because that's the direction of basketball at the school, then that's that option. But right now, they are working directly with the other 501c3 unless anything's changed, which I don't think so.
So I just want to say, I wanted to close the loop on the girls volleyball. Thank you very much for explaining to me that, there was time on the schedule that could have been done for the summer camp. And also that you had communication and that we didn't hear back from the coach. So just wanted to close the loop on that discussion. I also, on the budget committee, we do review fundraiser requests, and this is kind of part of the process. So we're stewarding the money that's coming in, that's being raised, and making sure that it's being allocated in the right way. So I would like to pose a motion to pass the basketball fundraiser. If we're taking that motion now, I'll just put that out there.
I second.
Any other discussion on that? Or is everyone clear kind of what we're doing? We're letting basketball run a camp this summer in August. When is it? Okay. All right. And you're going to charge how much per student?
$250.
How much is it?
$250.
$250 for the. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor?
I have a question on the dates. What is the date of the fundraiser? I guess my concern before I vote is if we look at the IHSA calendar, the week of August 5th is typically like your dead week for all IHSA sports because the fall season starts August 12th. I don't know if that is a conflict or not with the IHSA calendar of having that summer camp.
I think with being I'll look into it to double check. If there's an issue with that, then I'll bring it back to the coaches. I want to prove that we're able to do the camp. If that specific week becomes an issue, we'll coordinate. It's not our athletes, but it's younger youth. I mean, we're talking about younger kids, so they won't. I don't think they fit in the IHSA part.
Okay.
Unless we're recruiting a fifth grader,
I just wanted to bring that. I wanted to bring that up.
Like, do we have LP students who are helping to coach the clinic? The camp. Is that a violation? Is that an issue?
I guess we would have to look into the details a little further. I think to your Dr. Simon, to your point, I think it's maybe if our students are the one practicing, I think that would be against the IHSA bylaws. But I think if we have an actual summer camp where it's elementary kids, I think we should be okay.
Okay. Great.
So yes, I approve.
Okay. So we did vote. Everyone's hand, I think, went up except for you made your comment. So, so let's just do one more time. All those in favor? Okay. It's unanimous. Great. It passes. Congratulations, basketball team. We invite you to share back how it went, how many students came, how much you raised. And I also would just say, I think it's great to reach out to the feeder schools who come to Lincoln Park to raise awareness and connection of the good things we have going on here. So thank you. Yep. Okay.
The second thing then is that for every athletic team that they be able to collect donations, pay for uniforms, and sell spiritware. this is consistent for all 20 plus varsity teams, 40 plus teams. It's not realistic to have every team come in here to ask to be able to do those things when we don't have any funding from the district for athletics. It's the only way they can actually keep their teams going. It worked and it was effective last year, and it keeps us from having to micromanage everybody. We'll spend an hour every LSC meeting just doing fundraising proposals.
And just a question on that, like I think that's great. What makes the line of having a summer camp need a special thing? Like what's so special about that? You know, because if I can take donations like uniforms and spirit wear, I get, but if I could just say, hey, would you give money to my sport? And that doesn't need permission. I mean, just
so
for
with
clarity.
why I'm saying that some of those things, it's there's a specific product that is being given. So it's not just donation. We're giving experience to younger kids and training. If it's a popcorn sales, they're getting a product to do the fundraising. It's not just a straight up money donation. So they're getting a different type of product.
Okay.
In by giving money, they're receiving something. If they're just giving money, then that's different. If they're buying specifically spirit wear, that's the product we are approving for every team. Now, we could at some point say every team is allowed to do camps. That could be like a fourth thing that we do. I'm fine with that as well. I just need to ensure that we communicate to coach. They must work with the school and the facilities so that we are aware when the camp is going on and like proper insurance, like all those kind of things are kind of covered. And it's in-house. Because if we host a camp at a different property, we have to get insurance then. There's a different rules we have to go through. I feel very comfortable with those three. I'm willing to explore other things that we allow for all teams. If we feel like in the future that we have 3 more camp groups coming through, all right, we want to prove it for all teams. But for right now, for SY25, school year 25, those are the 3 things that I feel comfortable with us doing a blanket approval for all sports teams.
Okay. Thank you for answering that question. So
did we establish a calendar that everybody can see when they're fundraising? Because I think this was another issue that was brought up last year, not just with, fundraising from sports, but also from the performing arts, all the other clubs and things that are going on, just to have a higher visibility to all of the fundraising.
Thank you, Alicia. If I could just add to that, for those who are new, we had some students last year and said, hey, like we're doing a bake sale and this other team's doing a bake sale the same day. We're cannibalizing each other. Like we're not helping. So could we see a calendar of what are the fundraising activities so we can say, oh, there's nothing happening this week. Like let's do it then. So that's the idea behind what Alicia's saying. So
I think in that regard, I think that's something where the athletic director and the activities director, who I believe is Miss, should work together and create a spreadsheet that says here are all the fundraisers that are going on. So there's not too much, there's not overlap.
And if I can maybe add that to like the Google Calendar or something. So it's very apparent to even the parents who want to give their kid an extra $20 to support whoever is doing a fundraiser that day.
Dr. Steinmiller, is that, for those of you who don't know, a few of us are on this committee, but we did start kind of a fundraising committee, like a broader committee that is representative of, wait, why is it? Oh.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Now, I know it's like telling me that it's going to lower my hand. So it consists of the boosters on the athletic boosters, Laura, Peter, myself, Dr. Steinmiller, the drama mamas, the BOP, friends of, I'm trying to think who else. That might be it for right now. And we're just kind of gathering to make sure that we're not cannibalizing each other. So I think, Dr. Steinmiller, when you put together the agenda for the meeting next week, can you add shared Google Calendar of fundraisers? And that can be something maybe Ms. Theus or whomever is going to kind of have that responsibility moving forward can help with.
Absolutely. But I move that we approve those 3 categories for all athletic teams.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, just to clarify, the three categories are again.
Are able to purchase uniforms, collect donations, and sell spiritware.
So purchase uniforms, you really mean like sell uniforms to
Yeah,
the
so
kids?
a player can buy their technically pay like soccer. They purchase for 100 or 200, 250 or something. They get their backpack, they get their stuff. The parents are purchasing it. They get to keep it. It's not a donation. And it's not purchased by the school. Therefore, it is owned by the player and not our property.
But the money goes to the 501c3.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, I was gonna ask that last thing. It's like, who is keeping the accounting of the donations?
The boosters. It is not, we will not be holding anybody's money and are using our money.
Okay.
So it all goes into one pool.
Yes.
Great. Okay.
The donations is not an exchange of a product. It's
Nope.
just pure, you know.
Somebody wants to donate $20,000 to the volleyball team, they can donate $20,000 to the volleyball team.
So, but if that 20,000 goes into the pool, then other teams can also access
So
it.
the way the booster has it set up, they're separate accounts for each team.
Okay,
So it's not a pool, it's a basketball, volleyball. For example, I think it's in public conversation. A lot of money was raised through volleyball. None of that money has come to us. I've never seen it. So I don't know what money has been raised because it hasn't come to the school. It's gone to their booster, not to the school. So the money that's been raised by volleyball is just for volleyball. So I don't know where that
Yeah,
money
I guess, and what's advantageous about going through the boosters is when you order things through CPS, they have to be the CPS vendor. And if the booster parents purchase, they could purchase through any vendor. And the items appear relatively more in a timely fashion. They would appear relatively quicker. So that's one of the advantages of raising money through the boosters.
well, you know, I also want to bring up a point too. Last year, we noticed how much money was spent on transportation, specifically for athletics. I mean, getting transportation to and from certain meets. Do you think then that we can possibly use this for raising funds for transportation or keeping that off the table?
I would like to bring that up as a separate item in our budget subcommittee. I think there's about 2 or 3 different conversations. I would encourage other LSC members participate in that subcommittee, budget subcommittee, because I think there's some, I think we need to debate that. I don't know if, but I think it's a really great point. I think we should table it to a subcommittee so it can really put some conversation to it.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think that's going to be a really in-depth, long conversation, a lot of back and forth and debate and dialogue. It is a good point, but yeah, I think, I don't know, when the August meeting or something like that, we could do it.
Could I ask a quick question, everybody?
Yep.
Just to clarify, if a student can't, meet the $250 uniform requirement or whatever it was, is there an alternative in place? I don't know, maybe that's not a concern for our students, but, and I know we're just voting to authorize the raising the money for the uniform requirement, but, if that is an issue, can someone speak to what the alternative is for them that's in place?
Thank you. It's a great question.
Yeah, and I can answer that. What ends up happening is the donations offset the cost for anybody who can't afford it. So, for example, baseball team, there were several kids who could not afford paying for their uniforms. So, utilizing the donations, they were able to offset the cost for those individuals and make sure they got the appropriate equipment. Same thing happens with soccer. So, anybody who can't afford the donations offset that cost, and then the uniform is then purchased for them. And because it's not school funds, as in it's in our accounts, that's okay, because it's not school-based funds paying for uniforms for other students to be able to keep.
Great, thanks for the clarification.
Okay. So there was a motion by Dr. Steinmiller to approve. Why don't you just make your motion again?
Again, a motion to approve the 3 criteria, which is purchase uniforms, to be able to collect donations, and to sell spiritware.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all those in favor? Great, we have unanimous approval.
The third and final thing on our agenda is around fundraising and fees basically fees for the school. If we want to debate this further, I imagine we can table things, but I want to present it to you because the sooner we're able to approve fees, the sooner we can collect them. We know that through the district, when you collect fees, there's a month and a half turnaround before we actually receive it into our own accounts. So the sooner we can communicate to parents, for example, our $400, we have a $400 fee. Any student who applies for free or reduced and fee waivers, that can be approved through the financial income information form. But those who are not approved pay the $400. Last year, this is the same number we had last year. The issue we did last year is we tried to split it by semester 200 and 200, and we found collecting two separate payments was actually very difficult to kind of chase. Where the year before, we actually were at 450, and we were able to collect a lot of those fees sooner and quicker because we just asked for it all at one time. And so I have it's the exact same fee letter from last year. I'll share the screen so you can see it. I'm going to share my screen so you can see everything that we've done up to this point. If there are things that we feel that we want to table, my concern is if we wait to August 8th, we are delaying any type of collection of fees. But I want to show you all those fees that I'm talking about. I also shared this document with everybody about 2 minutes ago, so you should all have access to this in your account. This, can you see everything? Okay, I'll scroll over. I think it's the back there. If you guys want to see it, it's okay. What you see are the SY24 fee letters. To the right of it is the current fee letter. So to the right, we have a current fee letters. We basically duplicated everything from last year. So that this is our graduation fee, yearbook fee, senior grad night, senior prom night, senior awards assembly. All of these are the same things that we had from last year. This is our fee flyer. Let me see if you can see it online. Last year was 400. These are the things that the fees can be used for. The general fees, the tech fees. And so for us to be able to approve this allows us to start collecting it right away. Again, as an LSC, I always present to you everything we're making purchases of. I will continue to do that based off of our bylaws. There's purchasing up to $10,000, but I still will present that to you anyway. It'll go through the budget subcommittee. We go through all of it. But my request is, being it's July, and for us to be able to communicate to families that we have the $400 fee, I think it would be good to be able to get this $400 fee out to our families right away. Secondly, let me see if I can. Oh, what did I just do? Sorry, I'm trying to. Thank you. This has our other stuff, our graduation fee letter that is right here. It's the same amount, $100 that it was last year. Our yearbook fee is $80 to purchase the yearbook. The senior grad night for our students, they go to it's $80 to be able to pay for $80 for entrance Six Flags and the bus fee. This is something we do with our seniors every single year. So a lot of these are the same things that we do year after year. The sooner we can do them, the sooner we can communicate them. 150 for prom. That's what it's been every year for ever since I've been here. And then the senior awards is $20. So these are fees in which we put forward every year that we are, because we had this meeting focusing on fundraising, we try to put this together as quickly as possible.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have a question about the senior fees and the yearbook fee. So is it possible for people to start, paying for these things in advance? Are we just approving these fees or these letters to be sent out to the parents and the students as these events approach?
If we approve it, we can communicate this now. So we can send a letter to all senior families saying, welcome to Lincoln Park High School for your senior year. Here are the list of all things that you can expect for the year right now. They won't be officially due until the spring, but a family who is $150 for prom, $100 for graduation, like, it allows them to start budgeting instead of us waiting until, this was a request actually from communication 2 to 3 years ago, that we get in front of it. We are in front of it. so that we're not asking senior parents in February or March. They know now. And that's why I really want to get these approved as quickly as possible so that I can start communicating it right now.
Which I guess is my question is, are people able to, like, let's say they want a budget, right? And maybe they make a payment for prom in November and then they make a payment for the yearbook in January. Like, are people able to make payments for these initiatives?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this allows us to work with any family that if it's, hey, can I do this? Then we can go into their account and we can split something up into, so the school fees can be divided. So what we can do is a family comes to us and say $400, I can't do it all at once. We can go in and go, all right, $100, $100, $100, $100. We go specifically into that student's account and do it just for that family. We can do those things, but for 2,000, we're on the pace, by the way, to be at over 2,200 students. I'm freaking out about that, but that's a whole different topic. So 2,200 students, to be able to set that communication for 550 seniors, you know, we set that and then we could work individually with each family.
So even, so even though we haven't, don't have all the details on the prom, for example, or the award ceremony, we still have this, fee amount.
Yeah, we charging more than 150 is just not acceptable. It just means we have to adjust the location. So last year, for example, the last 3 or 4 years, it's been 150 consistently. So these aren't deviations from past practice. When we had 430 or 420 seniors last year, we couldn't do Hilton because it would be $60,000 plus, and it would have made it 225 each kid. That's just not realistic. Using Sox Park, we were able to actually create a really cool experience with, they're eating steaks, better steak than I eat ever, and do it within a budget. So it helps create the budget for the number of students. So this is something that we can get in front of right now. So then when the senior group, so we will have we'll have our student life committee along with our student government. So we'll have senior student government who will be working with, where are we doing prom? What does it look like? They'll actually have a pretty clear idea of how much it'll cost, how much it'll be, so they can start planning in August and instead of waiting until planning last minute. And so this is something that, again, has been the challenge from the LSC to me. I'm presenting it to you so we can be in front of things.
Yeah.
So.
And as far as the school fees, I agree, you know, it should be one collection, make it easier, make it simpler. You know, might not be simpler for some of the families, but I think it'll be simpler for just getting the fees because.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're still delinquent on some of the fees from last year.
Yeah, that was a hick. We tried to be strategic. We tried to do something and it just didn't work. And that's part of learning from our practices. But
now the other thing on the student fees, because of the structure of the letter, it's very generic. And, you know, we ran into this issues last year with the whole basketball thing. So we ran into issues last year because of the whole basketball thing and the way that this thing is structured here. Were we going to restructure some of these things, and I guess under the general category fee, where it's not so blatantly, you know, just, you know, anything goes kind of a thing?
I mean, I still present everything to you. And I think what this does is it allows us to get the resources to the departments right away. So for example, I know that the wellness department, they want to make purchases for PE uniforms right now, and they need some other supplies. And so the way this is structured, physical education uniforms are right here. We're able to make those purchases right now. Like,
well, I think part of the issue was, you know, last year was, you know, with the whole basketball thing, where it was a loan that was converted to a gift because of this thing right here.
Extracurricular. So it's the where you see the line on it is extracurricular activities.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where we were able to support athletics when those athletic needs are in place. I'm telling you right now, especially with as tight as our budget's going to be, funding for athletics for anything outside of, and we're going to debate transportation. We're going to debate whether we do transportation or not, but that needs to go through subcommittee and what that looks like. Is it a 5-mile radius? Is it this? That is not for today. I think that has to be something we really vet and debate. We're not putting massive money towards athletics. While it says extracurricular here, But we do have things that we use these funds for. And so extracurricular, if we have an event with our students, we need to buy, and we're buying like, it's like our open house, for example, you know, when we are buying things for our kids, some of the things going, or we have events going on after school that for our kids, or different clubs that we're trying to do. At some point where we don't have OST funds and we don't have money for any of those clubs, it's got to come from somewhere. And that's what the extracurricular would be. And I know there was a lot of debate about basketball specifically, but what I can say is our fees last year, when our departments needed resources, they all got them. And if you walk through the building today, you saw how many boxes are already set for semester one resources. And so I need to be able to respond. And again, anything over $10,000, I'm going to present to you for approval. And so we'll make sure that that is presented to you. You'll see it. So if there is something, and if we want to take the word extracurricular activities off, but my concern would be then we do anything after school that requires, hey, we need a banner. I can't use the fees for it. When we do, for example, like if we have a welcome freshman, well, or the details of what you see here allows me to be flexible to be able to meet the day-to-day needs of our school. But I will not be paying for athletics. So I will not use these fees for purchasing like uniforms and different things. That's something that where that extracurricular was applicable. I don't intend to do that. Everybody needs to pay for their own stuff.
Okay. And then the other thing was I know there was talk, I think last year as well, as far as having some of the substitute teacher or overtime being paid through this.
That's personnel. Yeah. If we don't do that, then we stop. If we take personnel off of the fees, we will not have the, for our music program, we have personnel that come in to do percussion specifically and very specific things. We use student fees for that. We use this for subs. If we don't do this, then we'll have to use money from somewhere else. I have no clue where, because remember, we don't get full funding for all the subs for every teacher. So we have to be able to do that. If we have a teacher who wants to go on professional development to improve their work for their classroom and go to a conference, well, we have to have a sub in the classroom. Otherwise, they can't go. So if we don't put personnel down here, then we are telling our teachers, you cannot go on anything but just sick days. There's no more field trips because we have to pay for subs for field trips. It doesn't come out of the same account that a sick day comes out of. It has to come out of the school funding. So if we have anybody outside of sick days, we have to pay for it. Or if we have an event, open house, when we pay for open house, we have teachers stay for open house. We also have to pay custodians. We have to pay security. If we don't have these fees, then our after school events stop. I don't have security. Security is paid to be here now eight and a half hours. It's a new agreement. So that means they start at 7:30. They're done at 3:50. I'm probably messing this up. 3:15, and then our day's done. We don't have any other events because I don't have money for security. There is no funding outside of student fees besides for security.
Oh, but we do have funding coming in from the rental income and
Correct.
we have security for those extracurricular events that are part of Chicago Sports and Social. And so in some ways we kind of bank some of that, right?
Yeah, that's additional funding. So if we think through Chicago Sports and Social, we get 100 something, that 100 and what was that? I forget the number, 140.
Yeah, just under 150.
So around 140. $77,000 went to athletic transportation this past year. When we have a sporting event, we have security who's staying from 3:30 until 9 o'clock for certain games. There's no funding for that from the district. So yeah, we can use, there's a lot of money. We probably put $200,000 towards after school events. We don't have massive money for it. Now, all the fees will pay for it. The point is we do have other income sources that will offset it. But it does allow us to make sure that we can do all those programs.
Dr. Sandler, question. I just thought of when we talked about athletic events at the end and we have to pay for security until 9 o'clock. When sometimes in those big games, when we have the red coach from CPS, does CPS pay for those or do we pay for those?
We pay for those.
Okay. So we pay for the red coach as well when they come.
Any extra security, anybody else that comes in outside of the day requires pay. When The only thing we don't pay for is football event. Football is the only thing when you're playing at the stadiums because they're doing so many games. We don't pay for that. But if we need additional security, like we can't have our security. If our security is here, we have to pay them. If our security is not here, we have to pay redcoats. We have to pay them. Everybody gets paid from our school.
And I
we-
just also want to add, if you don't mind, we're doing this fundraiser summit. We had a meeting about a month ago. We're doing another one in a couple weeks, but we really are trying to engage the friends of to help us with raising funds specifically for after school events, student activities, things like that. We feel like when we get the input from the different groups, we'll know exactly, not exactly, but kind of a roundabout number of what we need to raise. And knowing where the funds are going will be helpful in sort of maybe even motivating people to donate. So that's another source of revenue that we're hoping to tap into for next fiscal year.
I forgot, I wanted to add this too. When, as you mentioned, it's going to be hard to fund athletics, and a lot of the programs are going to be kind of, lack of a better term, like fend for themselves with raising money through like parents and boosters and whatever. When we do ticket sales for like football games, the entrance fee to ticket sales, or we have a basketball game and there's a $5 to get in, or volleyball game, $5 to get in, where does that money go?
It goes into an athletic account that pays for transportation.
Okay, so all that generally goes into that. Would you say 75,000 for
77
or
I think was our
77
last
for transportation?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I'm thinking, and again, have my athletic mind on right now, is like some teams, instead of purchasing their own uniforms through boosters where they keep it, my thought would be for the school to purchase uniforms every 4 years and recycle it so the school owns it. And if a student loses their uniform, then that gets added on to their school fee or whatever at the end of the year. And maybe that might take some of the burden off families on purchasing their own uniform, where it's like, for instance, girls basketball, because that's what I'm coaching is, the school purchases 3 sets of uniforms, varsity, JV, freshman, and then you recycle it every 4 years. You buy a new set, and it's what the school owns, and it'd be up to the coach to keep inventory.
Well, if I can respond to that.
Yeah.
It's kind of what happened last year with the basketball contract, and that did not bode well.
No, I think that's very different. What I'm talking about is we're not a contract, not a sponsorship, just going straight to BSN or whatever vendor saying we need 20 varsity uniforms, we need 20 JV uniforms, we need 20 freshman uniforms. No, it's no sponsorship contract with anybody. The school is strictly going to the vendor, purchasing the uniforms, and then that is the school's property for the next 4 years until you have to cycle out new uniforms. There'd be no, it's just like you're going to like Dick's Sporting Goods and buying a pair of shorts. Like there'd be no contract or anything like that.
I think that's something we can discuss moving forward. There are concerns, and I've talked with some of the coaches about it. When a student, for example, like in soccer, I was talking with soccer about it, and why they have gone to where they just have purchased or have other people purchase it is if you have 5 players who don't return their jersey, they're seniors, then they don't return it. A fee can be put on their account. Doesn't mean they pay that fee. And then now we are still short. And now they have to buy 5 more jerseys. We have to buy 5 more jerseys. So, and what ends up happening is because those 5 jerseys are missing, they no longer make that jersey. I mean, the companies have gotten pretty suave about it, that they rotate jersey, except they rotate it out where you can't buy that same jersey anymore. So you have to buy a complete set. And so in the suburbs, but also in other areas, Texas, Louisiana, every 2 years, they would have to rotate jersey just for that very reason. They would buy over amount of stock of jerseys, rotate it becomes very expensive. If we think about it, for every team, we have 20 varsity teams. Let's just say varsity teams, it's $10,000 each. It becomes very, very expensive. The model that we have right now is sustainable. I'm not saying it's the best. I think your options are like a great options if we had funds, right? But what we have right now is sustainable. I'm sure soccer would be like, please don't touch it. Like it's working. And I think we can get to a point where all these teams, but I don't intend to use funds for athletics besides transportation that we will debate further. But what we do need is to be able to start the school year. And if we know that if I can start collecting fees right now,
Sorry.
if I can start collecting fees right now, then we will start getting, we already know for our seniors what they'll get. Hold on, let me send this. We can already start collecting fees right now. Seniors already know what's going on. With this was also, there are 3 specific like quote fundraisers, like you brought up. One is athletic ticket sales. We can't charge a ticket until we approve it. And we like $1 to $10 is the range we want for tickets. And we have our homecoming and our winter formal. Like these are the things that we know are all year long that I just like to get approved because we need to get them done. You okay?
Yeah,
I
sorry.
think she needs a bag of rice. Like, yes.
I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, it's just, I think we can debate these points, like how to move forward. And that's what the point of that fundraising committee is about. It has athletics, it has band, it has our visual arts, and we're trying to think through long-term solutions. It's July. We're basically the start of the school year, and so I just want to be able to get these things in front of us quickly so we can start getting it collected.
So I think just it's a great discussion. I appreciate all that. I wanted to ask, Laura, you had raised some things, but last year, the concern here, I think, was people felt that we maybe approved something that was too broad, and then we didn't have the tracking on the usage of that. I think we've made progress this last year in the tracking. And so I wanted to ask you, do you feel more comfortable that we would have visibility to where dollars are going if we adopt something like this, or do we need to restrict it more somehow? So I'm asking you just because of your finance focus.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're definitely take some lessons from last year and communicate it. I think that it's good that we're getting ahead of it because people then can plan to pay for these things because it's expensive. For some families can also raise their hand and say, I need some support. And also I think we just need to be diligent with our communication. Last year, I think that there were some missteps there, and I think we can hopefully learn from that lesson and also be transparent with what are our needs, because things have changed financially. The budget is not student-based budgeting, but rather needs-based budgeting. So that means that we don't have some of those resources we had last year. So we're going to have to be very creative with how we cover certain costs.
And so just to that end, not start a new discussion, but on the needs topic, you have asked different sports teams for, hey, what's your budget? What are your needs? Do you have that information now? Like, do we have the needs for teams, or where are we with that? Because I think that's so important from what Laura said. Otherwise, we're just walking into everything blind and everything. It's like, New Year's Day every time, or Groundhog Day or whatever.
Well, and this isn't about that. Like this, honestly, athletics, they need to raise their own funds. This is about running the school. Like I said, I don't intend to use student fees for purchasing anything for athletics. Like that, they need to do their own fundraising. They need to do their own efforts. They have 3 outlets. All teams can collect donations, do those things. That's how so if they need to pay for a tournament and it's $600, they need to pay for it. And that's the only way we can actually be equitable to all sports teams too.
I know. I think just from the teacher's perspective is what I was understanding from last year is like anytime there's a purchase, maybe it's like we made this purchase. This is the category from the student fees. This is the category from student fees that it aligns with. So we made XYZ purchase. It aligns to our justification is, whatever. And this is for student fees personnel category. I think maybe that's what the teachers were looking for last year is we made the purchases through student fees, but
tag it for
what tag it. It is
it's empty. But yeah, I was trying to show we actually have.
I don't know if I explained that.
We have a very robust. This is last year's, but last year's was, and every dollar, like we're talking about $27 where it was coming from. So you will see every dollar. So when I do send this out, though, when we have our subcommittee and when I send out the budget tracker prior to an LSC meeting, please look at it.
But it's not that's what I was gonna say. About the clarity. That we are using student fees for the line items. Because it's not always very obvious that it's a student fee line item versus, something else.
Got it.
Coming from a different
Yeah,
bucket.
we can make that.
Yeah, we can try to do like a color coding. So I know that Lisa has her method, and also it's coming from CPS. They have certain codes for things. Even I'm trying to figure all that stuff out still, but I think if we kind of have a legend so people can follow it, that might be helpful, including me. And also just want to let you guys know, anybody who wants to be part of the budget subcommittee, you're welcome to participate.
Highly encouraged. Highly encouraged.
Yeah.
I'll show you the other one before, but for the sake of everybody's for time and for us to be able to move forward, these are the fees that I would like to have approved. It's our school fee, graduation fee, yearbook fee, senior grad night fee, senior prom fee, senior award ceremony fee. And then these are the 3 events that we put on every year. It's our homecoming. It's the same. It's $50. It's our winter formal. It's $50. And our athletic tickets, we can't collect until the LSC approves it. We have a range from 1 to 10 because there are like the blue and gold night, which had a bus, was $10. So that's why we already have these approved. So these are the exact same things that we did last year. But that's what I'm putting forward to have approved.
So we're planning a blue and gold night again.
We have to, for any ticket sales, athletic ticket sales, you have to approve ticket sales. So that's why you see a one to.
If that comes up, we do that individually.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what we would do is at a fundraiser for any tickets, if it's $3, $5, $10, depending on the specific event, we can then charge.
Is that something that we could do today as well? Or is that going to be like any athletic ticket sales from $1 to $10 is approved for the whole year?
Yep. That's what that athletic ticket sales.
Got it.
Forms on.
Okay. I would just ask that it's from a process perspective in the future that we have just awareness of what we need to look at. Like I didn't get a chance to go through these today when they came out. So I feel a little bit hesitant voting, but I don't want to slow things down. And I'm getting, okay, that's not that big a deal.
Otherwise we'd have to have a meeting next week. And this needs to get done right now. And so I only thought we were having a meeting today, and then I saw the proposal for a special meeting. And that's why having these, if we're talking about fundraising, let's get it all in. If we're just going to talk about one and still need to have a meeting next week to talk about the others, so if there's concern and we on a table, then we need to come together.
I think we can do it now.
From a process standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
Just try to, in the future.
Right. Just
Give them the
so we can feel informed on what we're voting
Absolutely.
I can't remember exactly what happened last year, but we had,
August, and
We did an extra
but-
meeting in August.
but there was a subsequent issue. I don't know if it was for the winter formal or for the homecoming dance,
I
but
think
there was an issue that, we had already approved it in the summer,
Yeah.
but I forgot what that
That's
issue
not
was.
the basketball team and student fees.
No, that wasn't
that.
It had to do with one of the dances, I think, where it had been approved
The
earlier.
senior awards banquet, I know the cost of that was thought to be high in the fall, but we approved something here. I don't
we
know.
dropped it down because we ended up posting it here. We tried to do it at the Chicago Museum, and the cost of it was just too high, and families weren't able to do it. So we had to change it to 20 to make it so families could afford it.
So when we're saying that we're approving these things here, what does that mean? That we're just approving that we're having a thing, but we're not approving any of the details within it other than the cost? Is that what we're
Yes, we're
approving?
approving homecoming dance, $50.
Yeah, so that's all we're approving is that we're having a dance and
Yeah,
it
that we're having
costs $50.
Correct.
But none of the other details within it.
Yeah, and what we had for all the fundraising forms for any profit, what we had the profit from this going is proceeded to related to sports. We did have the profit from homecoming and our winter formal, the profit to go to help pay for transportation for athletics. Because this is another way to offset the cost where we're not using student fees. So if there's any money, like $12,000, it could go towards transportation. But so we already have it designated that any profits from homecoming, winter formal would go towards transportation costs or sport. We put sports related in case we as an LSC decide we're not doing transportation this year. And then we could think about, and we as an LSC can vote to use those funds differently at a later time too. So if at some point we go, you know what, how much did we make from the homecoming? We made 20 grand. you know what, we put down that we wanted to go towards sports expenses, but we feel that this is a sense of urgency. We as an LSC can then redirect those funds. So it's not like you're setting it in stone where it can't ever be changed, but it does allow us to start collecting $50 right now. And if after the event we collect 20 in the LSC, we say we want to use that in a different way, we can.
Do we have the dates already for the events?
We're like homecoming, we're working with the football to try to settle it because the day they're gonna have a football game is not the best time for a dance. Nope. It was like not gonna work. So we're still working.
All right, so I guess just my clarification, what we're voting on and approving right now is the fundraisers and the student fees. We're not necessarily approving what we do with the extra money, right? We're not approving what
From the fundraisers.
we're not, yeah, exactly.
Well, no, in the fundraisers, it says right now athletics.
Okay.
But if we choose to change that later, we can.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh. So
Okay.
let's vote on
Yeah.
the port.
Yep.
So I move that we.
I have a question actually before you do
Cool.
that. Could you pull up the winter? For the homecoming?
Yeah.
Just a couple things. We didn't-
Okay.
So that's your go. I'm sorry, scroll down. So it says history of last fundraising activity, October 6th, 2023, so last fall. And last description of last activity, profit made $84,500.
Mhm. So we collected 84,500. There was profit that came, we had expenses that came out of that, and then we ended up having 20 grand extra.
So that was the gross receipts, but not
Yeah.
profit.
Yeah, I think that's the confusion.
Cool.
The other thing I see is for the proposed, it says selling price per unit, $50, fine. Anticipated revenue, 60,000. Anticipated expenses, 50,000. Anticipated profit.
Let me download it. It's right now. I have it in a non-downloaded. Let me download it.
I think, Peter, to your point, we need to have a better accounting of the monies earned or received and then the expenses, and then have a final outcome be reported to the LSC, or at least it'll be discussed during the budget subcommittee, because those are the funds that, like, to Eric's point, will be used to fund athletics or other student activities. So we just need to know how much money was generated, if any money was generated, right?
Yeah. And what we need to
And
do
we're
is
calling them fundraisers, just quote unquote, because we can't call them events, right? We don't have events. We call each initiative where we actually receive funds as a fundraiser. So the goal isn't necessarily to make money, because we don't want to make money off of our kids per se, but if we do, then those extra funds are used again to fund student stuff.
I feel like you said, like extra funds for a fundraiser. At the end of the day, all extra funds should just go back to the kids in one way or another.
that's where it would go into like and if we end up let's say we get like 15, we're like, you know, we don't want it to go towards transportation, sports transportation. And we want it to go towards finishing out getting the smart boards. We can, like, that's something that we as an LSC can make it. Hey, we don't want to use it towards sports expensive. We want to use to finish out getting the remaining 8 or so smart boards we need for every room. We still can do that. This is, again, as you're doing proposals, it's so that we can start moving forward with it. And then the utilization of the funds, because 10 days after the date, that's why you have a range of September 13th through October 25th, is 10 days after any fundraising. That group is supposed to present how much did they make and what was spent, what was the stuff spent on. That should happen from every group, every single group in our school. It has not. And any athletic group that does a fundraiser has to do that. So I heard today, volleyball, we've raised lots of money. I don't know any dollar amount they raised, and I don't know what it went towards. You don't either. And if they're a Lincoln Park High School group, they should present out what they've made. So every sports team at the end of the year, what we really need to have is how much did you fundraise? What did you spend it on? For all 20 plus teams, it's just a report out. We're not trying to micromanage, but we need to be able to see. And that hasn't been done for years. This isn't but we should have that from every single group. So any of these that I'm presenting to you 10 days after at that next LSC should say, how did homecoming go? How much was made? And at that point, if you're like, you know what? We would like to move that funds do not go to sports. They go to this. then we as an LSC through the subcommittee should discuss it, present it to the LSC, and then reallocate those funds accordingly. But it allows us now to tell all families, homecoming's 50. And because students will not, I'm gonna do a little cheat. Students will not be able to participate in homecoming or winter formal if their attendance is not hitting a certain point. I will be sharing that at a later LSC.
I also think that for like presenting of any like of the fundraising or budget stuff for like sports teams specifically, I feel like it hasn't been done probably because people don't know about it. So I feel like we could send out like an email or just like something for the coaches, or maybe even include the athletes on it just so they can be like on top of it, because I'm sure that they're all really excited about their like fundraising and like making money. And so like just counting up what they have, it could just literally just be like one slideshow. This is what we have and this is where we're doing. So like maybe just like present it to the teams.
Yeah, and I think with the athletic director point of working with even the boot, that's where that fundraising group, they should be able to present out, here's how much we made, here's what we spent it on, here's how much we have remaining, and then move into the next season. But when somebody doesn't, then that creates that, and like it makes it okay.
Right. And that ties a little bit to what some students said about, hey, it feels like these different groups, like we're not really communicating, we're not aware of what's going on. So it sounds like there's something to look at there too. Okay.
Also just for saying like when fundraisers are overlapping, maybe that could be like a spreadsheet with another page like attached to that, just saying like these were the outcomes of the fundraiser. So it could all be in one place.
Potentially, yeah, potentially. Cool.
So I think the other thing is, I think you already touched on this, Dr. Steinmiller, as far as, because this thing says the profits are going to sports related things,
Yeah.
but I think it should really be, to a specific need to, anything in the school rather than just strictly sports. I know sports uses a lot of money, but I think, there's also other activities in the school that would like some funds.
Got it.
But I think, we had discussed before having that kind of a global visibility of, other clubs or other departments that might need money and being able to allocate that money to other things other than just strictly sports.
Interesting. So again,
So I don't,
totally
I don't
open
know
to
if
that.
that's on the agenda to be
Yeah.
part of a budget meeting.
So we have the fundraiser summit, and that's where we're getting the visibility with what people need prior to the school year.
But I would still like to move forward with these because it'll still allow us to start the process of communicating it. We still have ample time to talk about or change how we want to allocate the use of funds because those events haven't taken place.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on like just the accuracy of those numbers?
It's a proposal. So it's again, you're trying to do your best guess as how much you're going to make. We've had groups that say they think they're going to make $10,000 doing something and make 460.
Right.
But it's what they think they're doing. And I
do you think we could update those? It just seems like they're not accurate. Like I don't think our profit last year was 84K. Maybe our net
I hear what you're
was.
saying. Yeah, we can update that.
Okay. So your proposal is that we're now approving.
I'll show it again.
The ticket sale things.
I will share the screen so you can see everything I was proposing.
Again, it's just kind of a lot to take in. I know Ms. Hurd and Jaime, your first time here. It's a lot.
So,
and you, Mr. Liscano, but you're closer kind of.
So, okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. She can unmute. Can you unmute now?
I can unmute now. I don't know what the pan list is, but now I'm able to speak. So great. It's just 2 hours of sitting here, not being able to do anything. Yeah, no, I just want to move on and just, I was trying to be a part of the conversation. I wasn't able to, but now I am.
Okay.
I've been listening, don't have nothing to say right now, but I'm just glad I'm able to unmute now. So thanks.
Okay, cool. Thanks for letting us know, Leslie. Are there other Q&A or chat comments?
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
again,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we don't address Q&A from public, like it would be like somebody standing up in the meeting.
Okay, so
What?
I guess, do we have a motion then?
Yeah, I move that we approve the fees and fundraisers.
Second.
And then, so you're committing to updating.
I'd like to amend the motion
Yeah.
and then you'll be updating those forms to be accurate. Okay.
Yeah, and we'll review those through the subcommittee. We can go back through them too. We can audit them and go through and make sure they're all technically right.
Okay, so the motion is to approve these fundraisers with editing the forms so they're accurate to reflect actual numbers. Okay.
So we're.
The fees and
now just
fundraisers.
Just these, the dances. essentially.
Yeah, so we're approving school fee, graduation fee, yearbook fee, grad night fee, senior prom, senior awards. Those are the fees that we have every year. And we are approving 3 fundraisers: homecoming dance, winter formal, and athletic tickets.
One other thing. One other thing is, I think 2 years ago, we had $450 in fee. It's now only 400 because the yearbook is not included.
Correct.
Okay. And you feel that 400 is the right amount?
Yeah, we were able to meet the needs of the departments. We're able to be prepared for the beginning of the year with semester 1 purchases. We'll now be able to start collecting funds for semester 2 purchases right away. As we continue to develop our unit plans, and we have then an idea of the scale of how much it costs over the course of the entire year, we should be able to make more specific budgets for departments. But we need those unit plans to inform that. So yes, I do feel like this is appropriate and gives us that flexibility to meet the needs of instruction at our school.
Okay. So did we have so the,
Yeah, I think we had a.
Second.
we have a second? Okay. Second. All those in favor? Okay. Leslie, are you a yes?
I'd like to abstain for this.
Abstain. Okay.
Yes.
Understand. Okay. So that resolution passes.
All right.
Okay, was there anything else?
Adjournment.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Okay, it's just Dr. Sandler on the budget committee tracker. I think I saw you just update the basketball camp. Do you think it would be appropriate to put on there the booster approval that we voted on?
Yeah.
Or is that just completely?
I want to get that. I think I agree with you. Yes. we
Okay.
could have it on here.
Okay.
Are we, just as a separate item, I don't know. I know you guys are doing this fundraising effort separately. Are they going to be providing feedback into the LSC? Because
Yeah.
those of us that are not on this thing,
Yeah,
you know, we have
several
no
LSC
visibility.
members are a part of it. And so it'll connect ultimately to the budget subcommittee, and we'll be able to make connections. I think we will be able to report out to the LSC in that.
It
Maybe
also
in-
will be part of the Friends of report.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the August meeting, I think that should be a good topic to report on. So, okay. Yeah, the other thing I'll just say before we adjourn, real quick, just housekeeping, for all of us, but especially the new members, there's some forms to fill out. There's a form of economic interests to make sure, like, there's no conflict of interest. There's a whole bunch of training to do that's available. A lot of it's recorded online, but there's some live sessions. So I'll send out some links to that, although you may have gotten some of that. We also have committees on the LSC, and like we were just talking, the budget committee. That the committees are where all the work really happens and where the detailed back and forth discussions have. This is sort of more of a once a month kind of report out for bigger issues, but the details are hashed out in committee. So I'll be sending out a list of committees that we have, and would love it for people to sign up for something that they're interested in. Could be budget, it could be communication, it could be principal evaluation, could be facilities. There are a bunch of different committees. So just that will be coming to you. And if you have any questions for me in the meantime, please reach out or to each other. I look forward to working with everybody. So Just those will be coming. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Second, okay, Jaime, all those in favor? We're adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.
Let me,
Okay.